Hi, Coach Grosz.
Hi, Greg.
Another week of getting together here. You're 10-6 overall. You've won 6 of your last 7 games. Specifically, you beat Northland and St. Scholastica here last weekend. Talk a little bit about those games. What were the keys to those wins for your team?
Well, I think those 2 games specifically, we defended really well, which has been a focus for us. Rebounded well. A lot of assists. I think one game we had 23 assists, the other game 22 assists. So we're really sharing the basketball. For the most part, we handled the ball well against Northland. We had a few too many turnovers against Scholastica, but I think our guys are playing at a good pace. When we're in the 70s and the 60s, it usually turns out pretty well for us. So we're taking good shots and defending right now.
In conference play, you're 3-2, and you're 4-1. There's a lot of teams that are 3-2 or 2-3. How do you look forward to the rest of your schedule while keeping an eye on those teams that are literally a game and 2 games right behind you still?
Well, I know it's cliche, but just one game at a time. 11 years I've been here. This is the most parity I've seen in the conference. So, there's really not going to be an easy game. Teams are going to need to play well and work extremely hard to be successful. So, that's our focus. Just keep getting better. Keep working hard and treat every game like it's the championship game. And then at the end of those 14 games, we'll kind of see where we stand.
You've gone a little deeper in your bench maybe this year than I've seen you do in years past. Talk about the significance of that bench, the role of a bench player, and not just the scoring, but defense as you're talking about, or just running the court. I know we're talking about Aaron Reed, Ethan Benton, Josh Williams, Lance Westberg, Ellis Libby. How important are those players?
Well, they've been huge. I think our depth has really, paid off for us over this 7-game stretch, like you mentioned. There's not a huge difference in practice. Those guys you just mentioned, will push our starters, beat our starters in practice quite a bit. So the depth is nice to have. I think we can play with a high energy level over the course of the game and wear some teams down because some teams we have been playing are playing a lot of guys 38 to 39 minutes and that's going to take its toll. So our depth has been a big thing, and especially on these back-to-back weekends or back-to-back games on the weekend. It's nice to be a little fresher going into that Saturday game too than maybe some other teams are.
This weekend, speaking of which, you've got Martin Luther on Friday, Bethany Lutheran on Saturday. Both are very much so in the mix, even though their overall records are above 500. Before the session, we talked about how Martin Luther's won their last 3 games. What can you tell us going into those 2 games about your team, and what do you know about those teams?
Sure. Martin Luther, they had a slow start. Their best player, Greg Holtz-Cedar, didn't play first semester because of student teaching. So he's just getting back into the mix, second semester here. So I like to think, they're 3-3 with him. Played a really tough non-conference schedule, like most of our teams do. So sometimes the out-of-conference records can be a little bit deceiving. Playing very well. Beat Morris presentation and beat North Central last night by 19 or 20. So, they're on a roll. They're coming in real hot. Bethany again has played well in the non-conference. I think they are right around that 500 mark, maybe 1 game under. But currently, we're tied with them at first place in 4-1. So it'll be 2 tough games. I know I'm going to be repeating myself over the course of these next few weeks, but it really is going to be tough battles night in and night out. So right now our focus is on Martin Luther, and once we're done with that game, we'll switch the focus to Bethany.
Excellent. Well, before we go, I want to give another shout out to our Twitter followers and their questions. So thanks to them. And today's question from our Twitter follower is, what element do Northwestern fans bring to competition?
The crowds have been great this year. It's been great atmosphere. It really gives our guys that extra, motivation or encouragement they need. So I think they've played a huge part in our success, and I hope they'll keep coming out this weekend and the one more home weekend we have in the regular season because they definitely make a difference.
Excellent. Well, thanks a lot, and good luck this weekend and then next Tuesday when you travel to Crown, and we'll get back together next Wednesday.
Sounds good.
Thanks.